You don't understand Kawaki. In my last video, I went over how Boruto is not a brat, and the people that say so don't understand his character and his relationship between him and Naruto. And for this video, I thought I would do something similar with Kawaki, because I feel like there are some people who think his motives are shallow and think his love and at this point obsession for Naruto is weird or unrealistic. So to do so, I'm gonna break this down into 3 points: Kawaki's past, Kawaki after he met Naruto and his obsession with Naruto, and why it's understandable and even very realistic to some degree. Before we get started, of course, don't forget to like, comment any gripes or disagreements with the video, and I'll make sure to get to everybody, and of course, subscribe. I think a common judgment of Kawaki's character has to do with how obsessed he is with Naruto, and that it's unrealistic and sort of creepy. While I agree that his obsession is a little creepy, I can't agree that it's unrealistic, and I'll explain why. But first we need to talk about Kawaki's early childhood, as this is probably the most important part to why Kawaki is as obsessive for Naruto as he is. Ever since Kawaki was born, he has always been mistreated, even by his own biological father who would abuse him. Chapter 24 is when we get introduced to Kawaki, and we see him unconscious laying down on the ground, and he starts to have a dream, or rather a nightmare. And in this nightmare, we get a glimpse into his childhood, where he looks like he was beat up and is just waking up from being knocked out. And we see his father talking to a man who we later know to be Jigen, but more on him later. Jigen tells Kawaki's father, "Once your son is mine, you'll never get him back." And Kawaki's dad responds saying he's hollow, empty, and has no worth other than being his punching bag. Keep in mind, this is only the first glimpse into Kawaki's backstory, and his own dad is blatantly saying how he doesn't care for his son, he has no worth as a person, and that he abused him just cause he feels like it. In the next page, his father questions if Jigen is a god for having such large amounts of money for such a puny kid, and Jigen gives him the money and goes to Kawaki telling him that he has suffered a lot and that it's all over now because he will be taking custody of him. That Kawaki did well for enduring, and that he doesn't have to worry because from now on Jigen is his father, gaslighting him of course. In chapter 26, we get another flashback of Jigen bringing Kawaki to this facility, or a place that Amato and Jigen had kids in bags against their will. Amato asks Jigen if this is the last child, and Jigen says yes and to treat him courteously, which is just even more gaslighting, but I'll get to that. Jigen tells Kawaki again that he has nothing to worry about and to accept him as his new father, and once he does, he'll give Kawaki a special present. After that, Kawaki wakes up from being unconscious and he meets Naruto. In chapter 27, Boruto asks Kawaki how he got his karma, and we get another flashback. This time, Kawaki is one of the many kids who are in bags, and we cut to a conversation with Amato and Jigen, with Amato asking Jigen if he wanted to keep going with what they're doing because he's lost track of how many have died, and Jigen responds saying that he has not a reason to quit. Jigen adds on saying that he can't waste time and has no other choice, that Kara just needs one vessel. We then see Jigen put his hand in a pot, and this kid connected to the pot with tubes start to have seizures and eventually dies. Keep in mind, Kawaki is viewing this firsthand as a kid who looks like he's no older than 10, if that even. Just to sum up Kawaki's past, he essentially has never been loved or even treated as a human. He gets called a vessel as if he's not a living, breathing person, and constantly gets abused mentally and physically and even lied to. He's been feeling this his whole life, all the way up to when he met Naruto, and is only a teenager, but now that we went over his past, we can move into how things change when he meets Naruto. In chapter 26, Kawaki jumps up from being passed out in a hospital room, and Naruto tells him to relax and he's somewhere safe. Kawaki immediately tries to escape, but Shikamaru instantly catches him with his shadow possession and tells Kawaki they won't harm him, and Naruto introduces himself. After, we then cut to Shikamaru and Naruto talking about the current situation and having an outsider like Kawaki in the village, which Shikamaru says he doesn't trust it, and it's too dangerous because he's directly linked to Kara and is definitely a threat at this point. Naruto tells Shikamaru that's why he's the most qualified to handle it, especially if they're strong. Shikamaru responds saying, child or not, Kawaki is still a security risk who would normally be placed under strict confinement, and asks why the Hokage should personally babysit him. With Naruto replying saying back when Kurama was feared as the demon fox, he might have been thrown in confinement too if Lord Third didn't defend him. Basically, Naruto sees the parallels between him and Kawaki and wants to help and protect him. Shikamaru tells Naruto that Kara isn't just the Leaf's problem, so he can't make that decision on his own, and Naruto responds saying he knows and calls a Gokage summit. Nothing too important here. The other Kage agree and accept Naruto's decision and are okay with Kawaki being in the Leaf. Fast forward a bit and we see Naruto taking Kawaki to his home, and Naruto tells Kawaki that he's going to live with them starting today, and Kawaki tries to escape, but Naruto catches him. Once they get to the house, Naruto and Hinata ask for Kawaki's name, and Kawaki thinks that they're trying to interrogate him, saying he already told them all he knows about Kara, and that he's not a member, so he doesn't know that much. But Naruto responded and telling him to loosen up and remind him that he's going to be living here. One thing I want to note is that Kawaki clearly has trust issues and is even disrespectful in the way he responds to the people that's helping him. Keep in mind though that Kawaki never had a proper upbringing. He was always mistreated and constantly got treated like a thing instead of a person, and was always lied to on many occasions, so Kawaki has no reason to believe what Naruto says or any of the nice gestures towards him. In his mind, it's all fake and everyone has a hidden motive against him, not realizing yet that Naruto is being genuine. Kawaki tells Naruto that he's giving him the creeps, and Naruto explains that he's being chased by Kara and that he and the Leaf can protect him, but Kawaki questions their power to do so. Kawaki starts to think again of a way to escape because, like I said, he has horrible trust issues and thinks somebody is always out to get him. He flips the table, breaking a vase that Himawari made for Hinata's birthday, which will start to represent his character right now being broken and shattered, representing how broken Kawaki is from all his traumas. After Kawaki tries to escape, Naruto flexes his power and Kawaki stops since he knows his hope was to run away from him. Boruto then walks in and realizes that the vase is broken, and explains to him that it's no ordinary vase since it was a gift from his little sister to his mother, and now that Kawaki realizes this, he apologizes and says it's intentional, showing that although broken, he does seem to have a soft spot and shows his sympathy. Kawaki finally introduces himself, with Boruto doing the same, and this is the start of their brotherhood. I'm not going to talk too much on Boruto and Kawaki's dynamic too much in specific, but it does tie into Kawaki's motives and his actions coming later. As Kawaki starts to get just a little more comfortable with his new family, he goes to Boruto to talk about karma and asks him where he got it from. Boruto tells him he fought Momoshiki, and when he won, he got a mark on his palm. Kawaki asks if it really doesn't involve Jigen, and Boruto tells him he doesn't know who that is, but asks Kawaki where he got his mark from. Kawaki gives him the backstory and says he felt pain all over, and as he started to pass out, he thought he would die. But somehow he survived, and when he woke up, he saw a diamond mark on his palm. Boruto says it's amazing that Kawaki was spared, being that all those kids died, and Kawaki responds saying spared is the opposite of what he had to go through. He says he wished he did die like those other kids, and that his life has been hell ever since. Kawaki asks if Boruto wants to get rid of their cursed marks, adding on saying he'll never know peace as long as he has it, and it'll be the same for Boruto. Kawaki tells Boruto to help him, and Boruto responds saying he gets it, and it's a tempting deal, but Kawaki still needs to make up for the vase that he broke. Kawaki says he'll get a new one, and Boruto walks out saying that's the part he doesn't like about it. Fast forward to Naruto and Kawaki walking around the village to find the vase for Himawari, and they see Sarada again in a taiyaki snack, in which Kawaki asks Naruto if that's lunch because they just ate breakfast, showing that Kawaki has had no freedom and his life never had a peak of fun, since the kid doesn't even know what a snack is. Even in conversation with Sarada, he's always on the defensive, and even scared the kid out his boots for bumping into him, telling the kid there's nothing wrong with having fun, but there's danger lurking in every corner. They should be more careful. Of course, Kawaki giving someone this response makes sense, since this is the mentality he's lived with his entire life. Sarada and Kawaki continue to bicker at each other, with Kawaki saying he was just teaching the kid a life lesson, and Sarada responds asking what type of childhood did he have, and eventually Naruto cuts them off and asks Kawaki if he has any manners at all, with Kawaki responds saying he's sorry he wasn't raised right, which might come off as sarcasm, but we know that's not the case. They get to the vase shop and Naruto tells Kawaki to get the one that he wants. At first, Kawaki just picks any random one, with Sarada telling him to be more sincere. And after Naruto explains to him what sincerity is, he picks the same one, but this time for a different reason. Once Ino went to put plants in the vase, Kawaki starts to have flashbacks and an outright anxiety attack, being reminded of Jigen putting the karma on him. So Kawaki drops the vase while breathing and sweating heavily. Naruto, remembering the conversation Kawaki had with Boruto, walks over to Kawaki, hugs him and tells him to relax and that he's safe now. Similar words that Jigen once spoke to him, except this time the person telling him this couldn't be speaking of anything less than the truth. I'm not going to cover everything that happens between Naruto and Kawaki because that would take a while and this video is going to be long enough as it is. So basically, to sum it up, Kawaki's life before he met Naruto has been nothing but hell. A life full of mental torment, abuse, and doesn't even know how it feels to be a human instead of a tool for someone else. He is a broken human being and at a very young age, but through meeting Naruto and experiencing his love and affection, along with his first ever actual family, was a lot to take in for him and very hard to trust, but in time he warmed up to them and even started to love them like family. Except for Naruto is deeper than just a father figure. Naruto is Kawaki's everything. Naruto has given Kawaki everything that he felt like didn't exist. His interaction with the kid that bumped into him is telling of that, and him not even knowing what a snack is a little bizarre, but through meeting and spending time with Naruto, he's now put all his pieces together and is no longer broken and empty. But the strong love that has seemed to turn into worship has its consequences, because when we get towards the end of part 1, his love is so deep that he wants to protect Naruto from anything that possesses a threat to him. The Otsutsuki as his main target, and so happens that Boruto, who has Momoshiki inside of him, is no exception to this rule. In chapter 77, he explains all of this to Naruto, saying he's changed from just a vessel and that Naruto breathed life into him. He says his world revolves around Naruto to an extent that surprises even him, but as long as the Otsutsuki are running around, good people like Naruto will die first. Naruto responds and asks Kawaki that's why it's ninja's job to dispose of beings like that, and Kawaki responds saying no, and that ninja are simply those who die early, and he's not necessarily wrong here. I mean, look at every battle they've had with an Otsutsuki. They might have won, but not without cost. With Kaguya, it was Obito. With Momo, he turned Boruto into his vessel. In Ishiki, it was Kurama and Sasuke's Rinnegan. With this in mind, Kawaki seals Naruto and Hinata in the Daikoku 10 dimension, where time doesn't flow, and says he won't free them until he's done with his mission. Fast forward to chapter 79, when Kawaki is on the brink of failing this mission, he has a mental breakdown when talking to Ada, and basically tells her about his depression and suicidal way of thinking. And once they make contact, Ada's omnipotence comes into effect, and Kawaki's latent desires have come true, for him and Boruto to switch places, and for him to be Naruto's rightful son. I understand that what Kawaki is doing is just wrong, and very extreme. However, I don't understand how you can call his motives unrealistic. Again, he's been abused, tormented, mentally crushed, and was always used. Of course someone like that would be broken inside, and think that's what their life will forever consist of. But all of a sudden, that changes once he meets Naruto, who shows him a complete 180. I'm sure everybody watching can relate to having that one person, or even people that we want to be safe, and can't handle losing, and Kawaki is no different. He's simply driven by love to protect the only person to show him light at the end of the tunnel.